Let us be. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripasindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we send our greetings out there to North Ireland with Adwai and Cooley and Haripriya and Tapanandini, and to all the folks who may be listening to the recording later. I know there's some devotees in Ireland, I'm sorry, in Italy, who like to listen to this. All right, so we're reading from this book, Sri Guru and His Grace, by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. And we're reading from this chapter called I Command You, Become Guru. And of course, there's something a little bit arbitrary in the selection of chapter heads here. That was done mostly by myself and by Bhakti Sudhir Goswami. And nowadays, this particular style is very much imitated everywhere and by everybody. And the idea of using lots of headings to separate the text, because we felt that people reading nowadays have a lot of challenges in terms of maintaining their attention. It's hard to keep your attention on something for more than 3 or 4 minutes. And we thought that we would give our book a bit of a magazine layout. We found some other books that we liked the layout of. And we thought, this is good. We'll separate every 2 or 3 paragraphs with some kind of title so that people will get the idea of what we're talking about. And this was done 40 years ago, but we've seen a lot of imitation. And nowadays, it's very difficult for people to read. And so you'll see if you look at a video or an advertisement of any sort, they'll put up 2 words at a time so that you will read that. But we consider the paragraph as the basic unit of composition. And so we had a title every couple of paragraphs. And here the title of our chapter was, I command you, become Guru. And because the name of our book is Sri Guru and His Grace, so that's how that kind of fits in. And this, I don't know, I suppose this is very controversial because at some point, the disciples want the new teacher or the successor guru to be at the same standard of devotional, Siddhantic virtuosity as the guru who preceded him. And sometimes it's very difficult to walk in the shadow of someone like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur or Bhaktivedanta Swami or Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami. And still, we're told, you have to do the work of Guru. I'm not going to be here forever. So someone else has to take up the banner, however qualified or disqualified they may be, and go on with the work. That doesn't mean that the standard bearer, whoever they are, comes out and tells everyone, I'm the best, and you're nothing. This is a very infantile attitude. And I see that on Facebook a lot, and it's very cringe. it upsets me. It makes me angry when someone says, so-and-so is the only such and such and will be forever and ever has been. It strikes me as being not as perceptive, perhaps, as one might be, or not as sensitive. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur certainly had many qualified disciples like Professor Nishikant Sanyal, Tirtha Maharaj, Bone Maharaj, who carried on his mission, as well as Srila Sri Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami, so many others. And that's to the Guru's credit. We don't like to think that an impressive Jagat Guru who is capable of instructing the entire world only leaves behind one disciple. So I think this is kind of a superficial view. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had many qualified disciples. So did Bhaktivedanta Swami. Many of them are still operative and trying to do some service. They shouldn't be so easily disparaged. And the disciples of Srila Sridhar Maharaj as well. Many of them very highly qualified, very deep, very sincere in their devotion here in the Western world as well as in India. And it's not polite to dismiss everybody with a wave of the hand and say, well, only this one. Or Govinda Maharaj as well. He had many qualified disciples who are still serving today. You know, I don't want to get into naming names and so on, but here the chapter title is I command you become guru. So the onus of developing Krishna consciousness around the world is on us, and we have to do our best to guide those who are interested along the path. And that, I suppose, is the meaning of the chapter title, I command you to become guru. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj begins, he says, it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, tava kathāmṛtam tapta jīvanam kavibir iditam kalmashavaham shravanamangalam srimad-atatam bhuvi gunanti ye buridajana. O Krishna, the nectar of your words and the narration of your pastimes give life to us. We're always suffering in this material world. This nectar is broadcast all over the world by great souls, and it removes all sinful reactions. It is all auspicious and filled with spiritual power. Those who spread this message of Godhead are certainly doing the greatest relief work for human society and are the most magnanimous welfare workers. So when asked, what is the message that we're trying to broadcast? It's tava kathāmṛtam. It's the katha about Krishna. Here the word tava, it means you. It's like in Spanish, you have tuya, right? Tuya kathāmṛtam, your kathāmṛtam. So this is well worth looking into because this is one of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's favorite verses that he would go over again and again. So, tava kathāmṛtam. The idea here is we're talking about katha to begin with. And what is katha? It means Krishna talk, if you like, right? Krishna-kathā. But katha is not only speech. It could be, it might be the reciting of the Shastras. It could be the stories about Krishna. It could be Krishna-kathā. So, tava kathāmṛtam. This is what we should be trying to spread and teach. And this is what gives heart to all. Tava kathāmṛtam, tapta jīvanam. To who especially? The tapta jīvanam. And tapta here, it's interesting, it means burning. So to the burning souls, your message will give amritam. Amritam, we've discussed this before. It means positive and progressive immortality. Srila Sridhar Maharaj's book, Prapana Jīvanamritam, it echoes this Tavakatamritam. See, what kind of amritam? Amritam for the jiva, right? Prapana Jīvanamritam. And that book specifically deals with surrender. But if you look at the book, Prapana Jīvanamritam, which I have over here, we studied this. Right? The chapters in that book, for example, are called Shastra Vachanamritam, or Bhakta Vachanamritam, or Bhagavad Vachanamritam. Vacha is like Vox Populi. It means the word, logos. The word was with God, logos. Vachanamritam. So Vachanamritam and kathāmṛtam is the same thing. So you could argue that Srila Sridhar Maharaj wrote an entire book expanding on this Tava kathāmṛtam verse, in the sense that the verse is saying, if you can absorb yourself into the scriptural message, the devotee message, the Krishna message about Krishna, then this will deliver you. This will give you, as we say in Spanish, consuelo. Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Bhava Mahadevagni Nirvapanam. This will stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. So right now, Tapanandini is reporting that she's being scorched down there in Mexico and Merida. We're having a heat wave here. And this is what the word tapta means. Tapta means burning. You could translate this verse, your kathā, your divine words are nectar for the soul scorched by suffering. Buddha put it a little differently in this sermon that he spoke. It's in a section of his teachings called the Adita Parihaya Sutta, where he explains that your eye is on fire. What you see is on fire. Vision itself is on fire. Your ear is on fire. What you hear is on fire. Sound is on fire. The tongue is on fire. Taste, everything is on fire. And what is that fire? It's the fire of lust. It burns you. It's the fire of hate. It burns you. It's the fire of anger. That it's burning you. The fire of desire. And this is a curious perception, because actually when we're born, we begin to burn. Your body is burning constantly at a temperature of about 98.6 degrees, or I think it's 36 degrees centigrade. When you eat, you take on calories, and in Spanish, the word calor, it means heat. It's a measure of heat. So in this way, we're burning. The bones, if you look at the bones of an old man, they're yellower, they're browner than the bones of a child, because the old man has been burning and burning and burning since he was born. He's been burning longer in this material world. So Buddha, he thinks Well, the cause of this is ego. And if you can become detached from the senses and the objects of the senses, and if you can become detached from ego, uh, that will be good for you. And gradually your suffering will decrease. But we have another remedy, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu puts it, Bhava Maha Devagni Nirvapanam. You want to extinguish the forest fire of material existence. The idea is Sankirtan, Bhava Maha Devagni Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairava, Chandrika Vitaranam. The Krishna moon will arise in your heart by vibrating the holy name of Krishna. See, but there's a caveat, in a sense, that Krishna-kathā is the obverse side of the coin. Buddha is right when he says you need to control your speech. May be superficial, but he's saying one of the things of the Eightfold Noble Path is called samavacha, right speech. It's a pillar of his system. It means no lying, no slander, no harshness, no idle chatter. Why? Because language, speech, it has consequences. We can think of it as, mental sin, verbal sin, physical sin. So what you say shapes reality. So it's important, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, to have a pure heart, clean the mirror of the heart by taking the holy name, but also use purified speech. Words are not harmless. They can either lead us to liberation or entangle us in illusion. So the point is purify your speech. And how do you purify your speech? With tava kathāmṛtam, with Krishna-kathā. Rupa Goswami says, Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam. Control the Vach. He points out that Prajalpo, Atyahara Prayasascha, Prajalpo Nimagrava. Prajalpo is anti-bhakti. It's useless idle talk. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that most Prajalpo, it's really gossip. It's all about criticizing other people. Why? Because we feel superior if we put other people down. It's negative talk. It's gossip. It's juicy, but it's not sweet. It's not kathāmṛtam. Nowadays, we can gossip all we like on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not immune. I do it myself. Now it's a situation where there's 24-hour gossip, and our friends gossip about everything. But this is especially dangerous if we begin to speak ill of other devotees, whether they're neophytes or Mahabhagavats. There may be some gradation in the level of the offense. There's venal sin and there's mortal sin, but ultimately, there may be a karmic reaction. And ultimately, it is not as sweet or juicy as Krishna-kathā. This should be avoided. So Srila Prabhupada comments in the Nectar of Instruction. He says, another impediment is prajalpo, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding just like croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men, retired from active life, play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All of these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. So, tava kathāmṛtam, tapta jīvanam, the burning soul is delivered by proper speech, tava kathāmṛtam. And then it says, kavibir iditam, the kavis, the poets. And Srila Sri Ramakrishna points out, well, who are these? We're talking about Brahma, Narada, Vyas. These are the real kavis. And I found a transcript on this where Srila Sri Ramakrishna gives another explanation of the tava kathāmṛtam verse. And a devotee asks him, he says, Maharaj, you said tapta jīvanam has many meanings. And Srila Sri Ramakrishna answers, yes, tapta means burned. And this burning has many degrees, from ordinary grief to the gopis' separation from Krishna. So, a normal reading of this verse is something like, well, if you chant Hare Krishna, you'll be free from karma and go back to Godhead. But this verse is being given in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam by the gopis. And so, how is it that they're burning? Are they burning in the fire of material existence? Hardly. They're the greatest devotees mentioned in the Bhagavatam, in the Shastra. So, in their case, what is this burning? Burning has many degrees, Srila Sri Ramakrishna said. Jīvanam means life, but in this context, it means the very breath of life for those scorched by the world. Even an ordinary person grieving for a lost son may feel revived by Krishna's kathāmṛtam. But we're talking about the gopis. What kind of suffering do they have? Well, their suffering is separation from Krishna. And their separation from Krishna is revived by Krishna's kathāmṛta, his nectar-like words. So, Srila Sri Ramakrishna in this transcript, he goes through the translation as if he's playing with the Sanskrit words in his mind, and looking at different ways to express that in English. So he kind of repeats himself. He says, Kavibiriditam, great poets, including sages like Vyas and Brahma, glorify Krishna's words. Kamashapaham, they say these words remove sin. But the gopis challenge this. Sin removal? We only feel more sinful. We've abandoned dharma, family, everything for you. Your words didn't purify us. They made us mad with longing. So here he's developing a different meaning of the shloka. Sin removal? We only feel more sinful. We've abandoned dharma, family, everything for you. Your words didn't purify us. They made us mad with longing. Yet they go on. Shravanamangalam. We're told your words bring blessing. But where's our good fortune? And still the gopis keep listening. This is the paradox. His words wound them and keep them alive. Srimad Atatam, your speech is filled with divine wealth, or spread by the wealthy in devotion. Srimad Atatam. Still the devotees feel bereft. Perhaps others now surround you, others more qualified to serve you. have taken you from us. Burida Jana. Those who distribute Krishna's words are called generous, but you, Krishna, are cruel to us. Others praise, we burn. This is the mystery of Krishna-kathā. Like poison outside, nectar within. Bhaye visha jwalahoy vitare anandamoy. To the gopis, even the consolation of Krishna's speech is a kind of divine torment. It deepens their longing and thus nourishes their love. They say, we are not gopis who will be we are not yogis who will be satisfied meditating on your lotus feet. Your charming words, so artfully composed, only increase our pain. Better if we'd never heard them at all. And yet they cannot turn away. So Srila Sri Rama is actually saying here that it may be taken that there's a note of irony here. And this is strange because some people will tell us that you need to take every word in the scriptures absolutely literally. But Srila Sri Rama is showing you, well, sometimes it may be seen that a bit of irony is coming into play. So the gopis here are being ironic by saying, yeah, your tava kathāmṛtam, it removes the burning sensation. No, it's making us burn. So they may be being a little bit sarcastic here, but that's sort of that's more of an inner kind of interpretation, because the devotee at the beginning of that asks Srila Sri Rama, well, is there another meaning here? Can you go deeper? But I don't want to get too much off on a tangent. So here's the shloka again. The nectar of your words and the narration of your pastimes give life to us. We're always suffering. This nectar is broadcast all over the world by great souls, Shravanamangalam, Srimad Atatam, and it removes all sinful reactions. It is all auspicious and filled with spiritual power. Those who spread this message of Godhead are certainly doing the greatest relief work for human society and are the most magnanimous welfare workers. So this verse is very well loved because when the king of Orissa, Prataparudra Maharaj, met with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu had his doubts about meeting with the king because he said, well, a sannyasi, an ascetic, someone in the renounced form of life, should be very guarded and careful about meeting with rich people, kings, politicians, because politicians are expert in corrupting others. And he did not want to be seen in the company of a king. But when Prataparudra Maharaj approached him, he recited this verse, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was moved because the verse has a few different levels of meaning in regard to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On one level, Prataparudra Maharaj is telling him, yes, I know all about this. I know that the best book to be reading is the Bhagavatam, and the best advice is to know more about Krishna, tava kathāmṛtam, the katha about Krishna. And then on another level, he's looking at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he's saying, tava kathāmṛtam, the katha that has to do with you, Gauranga Dev, this is what's going to relieve us. And of course, Srila Sri Rama, he points this out in this Premadama Stotram, where every verse is in glorification Sri Gauranga. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj also likes this verse. And then there's the internal kind of meaning that we just mentioned. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj continues. He says, this is what is necessary, and this is what is universal. Everyone can be satisfied to the highest degree in their hearts only by the nectar of Krishna's words and the nectarian descriptions of his activities. This is because Krishna is Rasovaisa, the reservoir of all pleasure, and Akila Rasamrita Murti, ecstasy himself. Krishna's very nature is sweet. Then he gives us a verse from Bilvamangala Thakur, Krishna-kathāmṛtam. Madhuram, madhuram, vaporasya vibhor, madhuram, madhuram, varanam, madhuram. Madhugandhi mridu smitametara. Ho, madhuram, 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 madhuram. And the word madhuram, it means sweet. So you can hear the poetry in the verse by Krishna-kathāmṛtam, by Bilvamangala Thakur. You can hear the poetry here. Madhuram, madhuram, vaporasya vibhor, madhuram, madhuram, varanam, madhuram. Madhugandhi mridu smitametaraho, madhuram, 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 madhuram. And translation is, O Lord Krishna, the beauty of your transcendental form is sweet, but your beautiful face is even sweeter. The sweet smile on your face, which is like the sweet aroma of honey, is sweeter still. This verse is found in Bilvamangala Thakur's Krishna-kathāmṛtam. He says, and now here's Srila Sridhar Maharaj's take. He says, sweet, 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 sweetness. Krishna is sweetness personified. At my first sight, I thought Krishna was Cupid, who can capture everyone. But then I saw, no, this is not like lust personified, which can be experienced only in the material world. This is Chinmaya, spiritual substance. I see that this sweetness is spiritual and characteristic. I feel it. It is the very gist of all sweetness. What is this? My eyesight is being nectarized. I am experiencing nectar pouring on my eyes. Oh, Krishna has already conquered my heart. I'm captured. I'm captured by sweetness personified. So this is the direct opposite, in a way, of what Buddha is teaching, in the sense that Buddha is talking about your eye is burning, your ear is burning, your nose is burning, your tongue is burning. But here, Bilvamangala says, madhuram, 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 madhuram. I'm being nectarized. This is chinmoy, spiritual substance. This is not like lust. This sweetness is spiritual in characteristic. I feel it. It is the very gist of all sweetness. My eyesight is being nectarized. I'm experiencing nectar pouring on my eyes. So this is the result of tava kathāmṛtam. And Bilvamangala continues, Mara swayam nu madhura dyuti mandalam nu. Madhuryam eva nu manu nayanamritam nu. Venim rijo nu mama jivita valabo nu. Baloyam abhyudayate mamalochanaya. So my dear friends, where is Krishna, who is Cupid personified? Where is he? Brilliant as a kadamba flower. Where is Krishna, sweetness himself, the sweetest nectar from my eyes and mind? Where is Krishna, who loosens the hair of the gopis? He is the supreme source of divine bliss. He is my life and soul. Has he come before my eyes again? Srila Sri Ramakrishna continues, whatever type of sorrow or affliction there may be, all different layers of painfulness will be removed. So he's coming back to the tava kathāmṛtam, tapta jīvanam, kavibir iditam, kalmashapaham, shravanamangalam. Whatever type of sorrow or affliction there may be, all different layers of painfulness will be removed. This nectar of the words and pastimes of Krishna gives us life. It gives us hope that we can live a higher life, that we were not created only to suffer in this material world, but to live a life which can soar up and transcend this painful life of mortality. We can have that sort of life of vitality in our own intrinsic form. The speculationists say that Krishna consciousness only does away with all sinfulness, but theirs is only an external acquaintance with Krishna consciousness. Sin is nothing in comparison with his purifying capacity. As soon as we come in contact with Krishna, even in the form of mere sound through the ear, our real welfare begins to awaken. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Krishna consciousness is infinitely surcharged with all the resources of our welfare. And those who can distribute Krishna consciousness to the world are really benevolent and kind-hearted. So that means you. That means the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Sri Rama, Govinda Maharaj. That means you. You can distribute Krishna consciousness. Then that makes you Bhuvi Grananti Ye Burida Jana. You're the really generous folk, the Burida Jana. They give the most who give Krishna to those who are helpless and disappointed. Only this sort of transaction should be continued in the world to save these souls suffering from the disease of mortal connection. Divine nectar. The descriptions about Krishna are like divine nectar. So go on with this transaction, always giving Krishna consciousness. And if you give Krishna consciousness, you will have an ample supply of Krishna consciousness. So this is kind of interesting, because if you're feeling low and if you're feeling burned out and you think, I can't do this anymore, but you take it upon yourself to try to distribute some of this divine nectar, ek bindu jagat dubai, where one drop of this will satisfy the thirst of the world, then you'll find that you too have an ample supply of Krishna consciousness. Srila Sri Rama says that will descend from the higher position. If you are sincere to distribute Krishna consciousness, you will have no want in your own capital. New capital will be supplied to you as much as you give it to others. It's a beautiful thought. It will have connection with the infinite source. So go on. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amar gyai guru hoy tare desh. Whomever you find, talk with him only about Krishna. We have no other engagement. Whomever you find, any soul you come across, try to save him from this desert of mortality. I command you, don't be afraid. Take the position of guru, the giver, and give it to everyone. Then Mahaprabhu says, Kabunava dibe tomar vishaya taranga, punarape e tai pave mora sangha. And in this transaction, you will find my backing. If you obey my command for distribution to one and all, then you will find that I am there backing you in this work. So Your great master has engaged you all like so many dedicated soldiers. Now you must do relief work in this world of immortality and death. Do relief work. Somehow, we have to get Krishna consciousness for ourselves and also carry this news to our neighbors. Mahaprabhu says, whomever you meet, tell him about Krishna, and in this way, save the people. They are all under the influence of eternal mortality. Only this path is relevant to their condition. All other talks are irrelevant. So we started out by explaining that. Tava kathāmṛtam. It means Krishna-kathā. We can talk about so many other things. So many different things are fascinating and useful. In your work, you may need to study something or learn something so that you can do your work and advance in your work and your career. So many conversations are going on. But Kaviraj Goswami compares he compares such talks to a man in a desert with a parched tongue. There's no nectar there. There's no sweetness. So bring sweetness into your life. Talk about Krishna and try to dive deep into reality with the work of His Divine Grace, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And that concludes my rant. Somebody put elucidations. I didn't put that. Elucidations. But how can I elucidate? To elucidate, it means to put some light on. Right? In Spanish, we also have the word luz. That means light. So to shine a light on Srila Sridhar Maharaj, what? I don't think so. He's shining light into our hearts and minds. So I don't know. Questions, comments? Did I say something stupid? I hope not.
Mahayogi, you're revealing the light to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
They say one who praises me is my enemy, and it's true. Flattery will weaken you, but I love flattery. It gives me heart to do this for another week, But I was thinking a lot about this tapta jīvanam, tapta. It's like tapasya, see, burning, tapta jīvanam, the toasted jivas. We used to have a product called I don't know. There was this product where you could put it in a toaster in the morning, post toasties, something like that. So we're the toasted souls. And I saw some health food person was explaining, the cartilage in your bones, it just gets browner and browner and browner as you go on through life because you're really burning up inside. And I thought, yeah, tapta jīvanam, that's us. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj has given jīvanamṛtam. See? I don't know. Prapana jīvanamṛtam. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tapanandini, for everything. We hope your art, captures the world and changes everybody's heart. Pranashish too. Everybody loves your abstracts because interesting thing about abstract painting is you have to bring something to it. See, representational painting shows you something and tells you, okay, that's a hat, that's somebody's nose. But abstract painting, you have to look at that and go, who am I? What is that? What can I bring to that to interpret it properly? So you're demanding more but all these things. Look at all the books he has. Okay, Adwai, you take care of your cows up there and be happy. I'm still waiting for the box of tea. But the the mail here is slow. It takes 6 months to send anything. All right, everybody. Hare Krishna and Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. It's good to see you all again.
Jai, Jai. Dhanavad. Thank you, Mahayogi Prabhu, Mahayogi Prabhu Ki Jai.
Well,
Yeah.